Hey, Mitch with Titan Nutrition. So we're talking today about some shoulder soreness, shoulder discomfort. So really what we're talking about here is shoulder impingement, biceps tendonitis, this kind of pain we get on the front of our shoulders, a sort of generalized shoulder pain, not necessarily related to a major injury, but how do we start to work through those sore spots and some of those issues? I know a lot of people, they get working out again for the first time, or maybe they lifted and they got a little bit sore, and that shoulder pain is starting to linger for them a little bit. So these are three great areas that we can start. Now the shoulder is incredibly complex, and we talk about the shoulder typically being a ball and socket joint. The reality is it's more like a golf ball sitting on a golf tee. So there's not a lot of good contact there. So the reason why we have so much mobility, but also the reason that we have so many shoulder issues with a lot of people is because we have to rely a lot on soft tissue for movement and stability at that shoulder. So one of the places I like to start is with thoracic spine mobility. So this area of our spine should extend and rotate a lot. Unfortunately, most of us, that doesn't happen. So if I don't have a lot of thoracic rotation, what happens is when I go to reach and grab something off a shelf or something like that, when I get to that point where I can't rotate any further and I have to reach, that shoulder blade comes away from the rib cage. Now I've got an unstable shoulder, we're predisposed to injury. So I have to make sure I can rotate really well. So I like to use a pretzel stretch for this. Real simple, we're gonna get down on the floor, we're gonna bind up that lower extremity. So I'm crossing one leg up and over, that hand goes on top of the knee. The goal of, the job of that hand, I should say, is to keep that knee on the floor. Now I'm gonna reach back with my other hand and grab the foot. Now, if you can't get all the way to that foot, you can use a towel to lasso that foot or a rope. And then another key with this is we have to make sure we can relax our head back against the floor. So if you can't, like I don't do a great job with that, I bring the floor up to my head. So I use a little pad or a pillow underneath my head. And then the key with this is breathing. So I want to take a deep breath in, exhale, and then I'm going to try to open that thoracic spine and get that shoulder down as close to the floor as I can. So really working and looking to rotate that thoracic spine as much as possible. So I like to do like 2 to 3 sets of 3 to 5 reps on each side. Make sure I'm breathing and exhaling every time that I go into that pretzel stretch. Next exercise is just going to look at this scapular stability, and it's a simple row. So a lot of us have done rows, we've seen rows. Unfortunately, what I see when I go to the gym is a lot of people aren't doing a great job with rows. So you really can't go wrong with the shoulder with any kind of pulling exercises, whether it's pull downs, pull ups, rows, high rows, low rows. But the key with it is I really want to work on scapular stability. So I've got to make sure I'm squeezing the shoulder blades together. What I see a lot of times is people will go here and allow these shoulders to stay forward, and we're really just focusing on lats at that point. That's not going to be great for your shoulders. I really want to work on these mid-lower traps and rhomboids. And a lot of times I'll have people squeeze and hold because we're talking about muscles that work isometrically. So in order to have that scapular stability, I have to be able to sustain that position for longer duration. So we'll go hold anywhere from 4, 6, 8 seconds as I work through these reps. But the biggest key is I really have to squeeze these shoulder blades together when I'm doing my rows. Last exercise I want to look at is what I call a shoulder packing deadlift. So we can use any kind of a box, a bench, we can use a kettlebell, dumbbell, but the whole key is I'm trying to teach the shoulder to pack in, stabilize, get really tight before I go into any kind of movements. Now there's also a direct connection between rotator cuff, strength and stability, and grip strength. So the stronger my grip, the more active my rotator cuff is going to be. So when I go into this, I want to get a nice athletic stance here. I'm going to come over, I want to grip this handle really, really hard, and then I want to pack my shoulder in nice and tight, and then I'm going to stand up with it, and then come back down. So the whole key is grip and then squeeze, corkscrew that shoulder in and down, so to create that stability at the shoulder joint. So it's really not that much of a deadlift as it is a shoulder exercise. So I'm gripping really hard, corkscrew that shoulder in nice and tight, and stand up, and then I go right back down into it. So that's gonna help you with some generalized shoulder stability. So here's 3 easy exercises that'll get you on the right track to some good shoulder health. So give these a shot. Always make sure you're following myself, Titan Nutrition, for more great information to help you reach your fitness goals.